The film is the third film in a trilogy of films, and they tell the story, the longer story of Andrian and the Golden Record, and this question we've been talking about are we in our signals? The first two films unpack that story in different ways, but the third one really focuses on what I think is maybe the most radical thing that Anne did that most people are just unaware of, which is that she didn't just think about love, again, hoping that the electrical signals of her brain as she's thinking merged with the electrical signals of her heart, that the specificity of what she's thinking about, in this case, falling in love with Carl Sagan, she's hoping that that content is somehow embedded in the signal. This is an hour-long recording she made, sitting alone in a dark room while she's hooked up to an EKG and an EEG machine. The time she thought about falling in love amounted to about 3 minutes. So the big question is, what about the other 57 minutes? And that's one of the quests I've been on, is to find out. What Anne did that is so radical to me, and I can, not only do I consider the Golden Record, potentially the greatest work of art that art history hasn't accounted for, but I think of Anne as one of our greatest avant-garde feminist conceptual artists that nobody has accounted for. And again, you have to argue, well, why make this claim for what she's doing? And this is why, because what she did is so subversive. But because this document was conceptualized as potentially the final document of our planet, because it was breaking free of the gravitational pull of the sun, meaning it had severed itself from the long-term fate of our planet. This raises different types of questions about what is one's responsibility to a full accounting of humanity's actions if this is the final document and it's forever. Arguably, no other document humans have ever made have been asked to meet that criteria. And so in the debates about what should be included on board, a decision the broader team made was only our best face forward, meaning no images of environmental devastation, no images of war, poverty, misogyny, etc. All the ways humanity has undermined its flourishing. And Anne was the only one on the team who not only argued, well, we should get love on board if this is the final document, but she was also the only one that said we should get a full accounting if this is the final document. And so along with thinking about love, she also thought about war. And I argued that she might be one of our greatest historians that nobody has ever accounted for, because she really leaned into the moral question of what do we say if this is forever and the final document? And so the film tries to honor that part of her story, which is that she did think about these things. And I hope people will come and dig in to the argument here. It's an open-ended one. Many people can argue she made a mistake. Obviously, I think she made the right decision, but it's a wonderful debate to have in 2024 about questions of diversity, who gets to choose what made it on board and why. If we were to make a Golden Record today, I often ponder that. The film will also highlight an audio recording that is also lost to history, which is the first recording ever made on a battlefield. Something most of us, I'm gonna guess most of us have never pondered, is even a document out there, or if it is, where is it and which war? But the film equally tells the story of the recorder, his name was Will Gaisberg, who recorded in the final month of World War I, the first recording from a battlefield. And this is the recording that inspired Anne to ask this deeper question. So Anne has a direct relationship to this recording that has also been lost to history. And I think both of them, Will and Anne, in their own ways and in their own times, 1918, 1977, both rose to the occasion to document as accurately as they could both the good and the bad of what we're capable of. So the film honors that spirit. I like taking time to just formulate an interesting question that will drive the work. Broadest picture, as I mentioned, the question is, what does one gift? to the only woman whose heart has left the solar system. The films, all of this work is my humble gesture to Anne, the thank you for what you did, here's a gift. But the other question for the films in particular I asked myself was, what if an artist directed an episode of Cosmos? Cosmos was a PBS-produced series narrated by Carl Sagan, and was a producer on it as well. As a young budding artist scientist, when I was a little boy, this television program in the 80s completely rewired my brain. But we've all become accustomed to this format, which is the 1-hour public science television show. The point is that we have a vocabulary of this genre, but it doesn't tend to get understood or pushed on artistically as its own interesting history of innovation in format and technique. So the films take that as their starting point, and they're roughly an hour, each is roughly an hour long. They take some of the tropes of public science television shows, like I'm the narrator, but as viewers will see, I take some twists, make some twists and turns here that might not be as suitable for a public PBS series. And that's one of the beauties of being an artist, is that I can do such things. So there's a very specific nod to the format of public access and integration with science, which I just love. I love that history and that lineage. We're moving quickly into an era of not only recording our signals with such nuance, but deciphering the intention in the signal, which means we are getting closer to Anne's core question: are we in our signals? In 2024, what is the value in debating and revisiting the decisions the team made in 1977 about diversity, full accounting of humanity's actions, what we owe to the future, what we owe to life we have yet to discover? That's what I hope a viewer will take away, is that I might be lingering in the past, but these are contemporary questions, as I mentioned. And a question that I would love to open up to viewers is, could we make a golden record in 2024? I hate to say it, but I don't know that we could. I love to think and debate that, but that is itself a reason to reflect on why. Why would it be so hard to come to some consensus in 2024 about what is important about us as a species and as beings who care about each other?